Laser sights enhance and maintain your accuracy in a time of crisis, preventing tunnel vision and allowing quick target acquisition in awkward shooting positions. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Today on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, it's the gift on everyone's wish list. Important legislation for shooters, your range reports, and more. Call in now, 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, here's Tom.
Well, we are going to attempt to do some radio today. Tom Gresham here. It is Gun Talk, and I'm glad that you are with us. Glad to be with you. We're having a bunch of fun. I'm actually out in Idaho. Hadn't planned to be here for this weekend, but the weather came in and we couldn't get out. So we're trying to do this remote. We will give it our best shot, understanding that the connections may be okay, may not. You never know. When you're trapped in the mountains, that's what happens. If you'd like to join us, it's very easy. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in. 866-825-5486. Or, of course, the easiest way is just dial Tom Talk Gun, and that will absolutely get you in there. I hope that you have been watching. We have all this week, as we've been calling it Defender Week. All week we've been releasing new episodes of First Person Defender Season 4. And they, of course, are available on our YouTube channel, which, of course, was where we originally released First Person Defender. And now also Facebook, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire channels. So you can check it out in all of those. These are those situations where we take people, we throw them into self-defense scenarios. They get attacked somehow. Or maybe somebody else gets attacked, or they come to the rescue, or not, depending on the situation. Our challenge when we set these up is, how do we make it realistic? How do we suck people in so they want to get involved, but maybe give them an alternative where maybe they shouldn't, or they had a chance to not get involved, and we see what happens. It is fascinating. If you've had a chance to watch any of the FPD episodes, First Person Defender episodes, by all means, I'd love to get your reaction. Give us a call, 866-TALK-GUN. Of course, a lot of the big news this week is we had a school shooting, a mass shooting that wasn't. I'm sure you saw the reports. The shooting at Ohio State, it actually wasn't a shooting at all, was it? Because, well, at first the media reported there was a shooting there. And the anti-gun politicians and the anti-gun media and the anti-gun, gun control people, the gun ban people jumped all over it. Horrible, another mass shooting, another school shooting, another. What? No? There's not a gun there? What? You mean he ran over people and then he used a knife? Well, that's not a story. And it was fascinating that this big story that was breaking became almost a non-story in the media. It didn't fit the narrative that they wanted to push. It didn't fit their agenda of saying, wow, a bad guy with a gun. But, of course, in this case, a good guy with a gun was there. And what did he do? He shot the bad guy and made him quit hurting people. Well, that's a good thing, is it not? You would think that would be a very good thing. But the way the media treated it was kind of like, oh, okay, that's not a real story. You did notice, of course, I'm sure, the apparent connection, or at least similarity, in the attack in Ohio versus the attack in Nice, France, where the terrorist used a big truck to run over and kill dozens of people. One of the differences there is they had no one there with a gun to stop him. In Ohio, we had a police officer who simply shot him, and he stopped. He stopped hurting people. How about that? Amazing. Well, that's how it works. Now, here's the question. To what extent does this change the conversation about the whole gun-free school zone? Good guy with a gun on campus shoots and stops a bad guy who was there to kill people. If we had more good guys with guns there, And understand, we're not talking about students necessarily. There may be some students, but we're talking about anybody. People who can, when they cross the street from the school, they can legally carry. They can walk around, they can carry a gun. They're next to you in the store, they're next to you in the movie theater, they're next to you at Starbucks. You never know about it because they're doing it right, and they're doing it safely, and they're doing it responsibly. But when they cross the street and go on to campus, can't do that anymore. You were responsible over there. Oh, no, you come to this side of the street. Sorry, you're not responsible anymore. We don't trust you. Oh. So does this change the conversation? I think perhaps it does. 866-TALK-GUN. But tell you what, let's take line 3. Kyle's called in from Cedar City, Utah. Hey, Kyle, you're on Gun Talk.
Hi, Tom. Love the show.
Thank you.
So I went out shooting last week, day after Thanksgiving, with my brother and my nephews. Mm-hmm. My nephew was shooting my XTM pistol, and he experienced the first squib load that I have ever been a part of.
Huh.
We were lucky enough that the bullet stopped just beyond the chamber, just barely popped out of the casing, and it wouldn't load another round, so we were able to detect it quickly and put the gun down and found it. I got it out. I watched a YouTube video, and a guy purposely made a squib load. He used a wood dowel to knock it out. So I thought, well, that's what I'll try. So I got a wood dowel. I actually broke the wood dowel off in my barrel.
Yes.
So I'm part of a group on Facebook, and they said, well, use a brass rod from your cleaning kit. And I did, and put it in a vise, put the barrel in a vise, tapped out with a dead blow and this brass rod, and got the bullet out.
Okay.
I cleaned and inspected my barrel. I don't see any damage. So I guess I have 2 questions here. Okay. Number 1, to what level of safety should I go to shoot the first rounds out of the gun?
Oh, I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think your gun's going to be fine. I don't think that's an issue at all. As long as, you got the bullet out, it should work just fine. I don't think you did any damage to the gun at all.
Okay. Yeah, I can't see any. And my second part of my question is, what is your opinion on remanufactured ammo? The bullet that squibbed was, I got 1,000 rounds of bulk remanufactured ammunition. Mm-hmm. In this group I'm part of, a lot of guys say, oh, throw that crap out. It's no good, buy factory ammunition, So what is the chances of squib loads happening in factory ammo as opposed to remanufactured? Am I better off just throwing this stuff out and sticking with just brand name ammunition?
Remanufactured ammunition can mean a lot of things, and the problem is there's the whole scale, a sliding scale of what that means. If it is some guy in a back room who is making ammo and he may or may not be paying attention, in this case what it sounds like to me, it sounds like there was no powder at all in this case, and probably just the primer shoved the bullet out and jammed it into the rifling of the barrel. So you got that level. Then you've got a level up to, say, a Black Hills Ammo, which is a regular ammunition factory, but they do remanufacture, as in you reuse brass, once fired brass. And that would never bother me because these are guys that have inspection protocol in place. Yeah, QC, quality control. So that wouldn't bother me in the slightest. It just depends on what you're talking about. I mean, if it's a box of ammo in a store and it's been manufactured by somebody you don't know, you can't even call and find out who it was, that kind of a deal, I wouldn't shoot that stuff. If it's from a known quantity, a brand name like a Black Hills or something like that, wouldn't bother me in the slightest. I guess, Kyle, the real question is what? Yeah. I mean, Jim points out, obviously, you would not use this stuff for self-defense. That's not what it's for. This is just range ammo.
No.
All right, the question is, what do you do with the rest of the ammo? You bought 1,000 rounds of this, and now what do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
throw it out. I would throw it out if that meant, I don't want to experience another squib load. So I'll take it as a lesson learned. But I'd rather not. If this is really an anomaly, and chances are I'll probably never experience it again, I'd like to continue shooting it. It's cheaper,
I'll tell you. Here's what I would do. I would not buy any more of that ammo. That once is enough for me. I would be quite tempted to go ahead and shoot it with the understanding that I'm not going to be doing any rapid fire shooting. I'm going to do it more slowly because I want to be aware if you have a squib load. The problem is, in your case, it was okay because the bullet stuck there and you couldn't get another round in behind it. But if the bullet had gone further down the barrel and you could then chamber another round, could have gotten ugly. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I tell you what I'm going to do. If you can keep listening, let me ask what other people think, because I can argue it both ways. The absolute safe thing to do is to say, I'm done with this. Let me ask you, how many rounds of that 1,000 rounds had you shot?
Roughly 300.
Okay, so you've been through a good bit of it, and you got that one squib load. Hard way to go. What do you think? What's your thought? What are you leaning right now?
No, like I said, I'm not rich, and so there's that part of me that just wants to think that this is it's an anomaly. Mm-hmm. My chances of experiencing it again are pretty slim. Yeah, if I go buy more Reman, I might go with a different brand. But I just don't know.
I understand. I'll tell you what, you keep listening. We're going to let some other people weigh in on this. If you have got a thought for Kyle, should he continue to shoot from this batch? Should he not buy that ammo from that supplier anymore? Or should he just pitch the whole thing and go a different direction? Give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN. That's 866-TALK-GUN. We'll be right back with more gun talk.
You use Slip 2000's full line of gun lubricants, including EWL and EWL30, because you know your guns deserve the best available. It's time to add Slip 2000's Carbon Killer Gun Cleaner. Carbon Killer dissolves carbon and lead on contact, is not toxic, and reusable. Carbon Killer works on all weapons, including handguns, rifles, and machine guns, plus silencers and compensators. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com.
Nosler has been a leader in bullets and ammunition for decades and keeps growing with new product introductions that follow this tradition. Accurate, highly effective bullets and ammo for long-range shooting, precision rifle competition, and big game hunting. To be the first to hear about new product releases and promotions, follow Nosler on Facebook and Instagram and become part of the conversation. You won't settle, and neither will we. Nosler.com.
In the war on terror, fighting crime in the streets, in competition and homes around the world, one name in firearms stands out: Sig Sauer. Our pistols and rifles are renowned for their unfailing performance. This same commitment to excellence can be found in our line of SigTac accessories and the training offered by the Sig Sauer Academy. For unmatched quality, reliability, and innovation when it counts, choose Sig Sauer. Visit SigSauer.com today.
Back with you, Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN, get you in here. As we look at the coverage, of course, of the Trump transition team, some of the conversations taking place are about different cabinet level, cabinet members. The Secretary of State keeps floating around out there, and one of the names that's been floated is General Petraeus. Are you aware that this year, General Petraeus, who people say, oh, yeah, he's a great military man, and blah, 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 except that he joined in with the Gabby Giffords gun control, gun ban group. So Petraeus is already on the side of being against the Second Amendment, of being against American gun owners, of being in favor of more restrictions on gun owners, and has publicly said, I am with the gun ban lobby. So I am hopeful that somebody, and we're trying to make sure that that word gets through, somebody in the Trump transition team understands you can't put a person who's in favor of gun control and gun bans and restrictions in the Secretary of State slot, because State Department has a lot to do with importation, with restrictions, with ITAR, with other things. So it's one of those things that as we look at it, remember, just because, well, I'm just going to say it. I have seen many, many people who are in the, where they got flag level officers, generals particularly, who are anti-gun. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that's an us versus them. We're military, you're not. We're trained, you're not. We don't trust civilians because you're not us. Colin Powell, very much anti-gun. General Petraeus, very much anti-gun rights. I don't know where that comes from exactly, but it certainly is there. So just food for thought there. Oh, I see a release here from Sig Sauer introducing 223 Remington match ammo. That's kind of cool. They're becoming a really serious ammunition manufacturer. Sig is. This is 223 Remington open tip match featuring the 77 grain Sierra Match King bullet. That's pretty sweet. And then following last week, I had a number of people contact me and say, you were saying that you would like to have a lever action 327 Federal rifle. Well, guess what? Anthony Imperato has just done that, and that is pretty fabulous at Henry Rifles, Henry Repeating Arms. They're offering, I think it's through Lipsy's, so we're going to have to get somebody from Lipsy's on here, and we'll see what we can find out. But there is, in fact, I know a lot of people are happy about this, a lever-action rifle in 327 Federal from Henry Repeating Arms. We'll get more about that. And maybe we can get Anthony on. We'll try to do that also. Let's run to line one. Paul's with us out of Texas. Hey, Paul, you're on Gun Talk.
Okay, I got a question about, I'm shooting a 300 Blackout, and with a shell ejects, it's putting a little bitty dent on the side of the mouth of the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I just noticed this the other day. I've been shooting it a while, but I just noticed this the other day. And I'm wondering, is that what would cause that, and do I need to be alarmed? Because, I mean, if I run a sighting out there, it's no problem. You know? Okay.
So it's not huge. It's not really like collapsing it. What's happening is that as the empty case is being ejected out of the AR, it is either hitting the side of the ejection port, or that's probably what's happening. It could actually be flipping back and hitting the the little lump. I can't find the word right now in front of the forward assist. You know what I'm talking about? But it's probably it's almost certainly it's whacking the side of the ejection port as it comes out. Not a big deal as long as your silencing die will go in there and open it back up and you can reload them. I wouldn't worry about it at all.
Okay. Okay. Also, well, I just started shooting a suppressor on it. So would that cause any of the pressure to make it eject funny?
Yes, absolutely. It can slow down the bolt velocity, and it can change the ejection process. So, yes, if it wasn't happening before and now it's happening because you're shooting a suppressor on it, that's probably what's going on. Again, not a big deal, minor deal, but just kind of keep an eye on it and make sure you keep your gun really lubed up well, because if it starts slowing things down, you could end up with a failure to feed or some kind of a jam. So just be careful about that, okay?
Okay. Well, right. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that call. Line 4, Mark is out of Shreveport, Louisiana. He's got a thought on the squib loads. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Tom, how you doing? Wasn't supposed to have that. Anyway, about the squib loads, not an experienced shooter. I'm just using common sense here. I think if the guy has, like, revolvers or single-shot rifles or something, he can have a family friends event where they just shoot through all that ammo real quick, but by the mechanics of the gun, there's no way that they're going to like speed fire and you know, have a problem with a squib load. If he doesn't have that and he's just, you know, got automatics, then he should fire it off by himself so that he can be in control of how fast they cycle through to make sure that he doesn't have any barrel jams.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Don't go do fast firing. Don't be doing speed shooting. Slow fire so you can pay attention to each one that goes off. You can listen for it. You can tell if it feels differently. And just be alert to possible squib load. I'm with you, Mark. I appreciate that. Doug on line 3's got another thought on the squib loads. Hey, Doug, help me out.
Okay. If he has any means of disassembling one round of the remaining 700 rounds, he could take and weigh the bullet and the powder and the case, and then he could determine if there was a squib load or a light load by weighing the rest of the cartridges that he shoot, be relatively safe and assured that there wouldn't be one without a powder charge or one with a low powder charge.
It's a good point. And now, of course, the powder charge is going to be pretty light in a 9mm. I think it was 9 he was talking about. But even there, like you say, the bullets are going to be the same. The cases are going to be pretty close to the same. So if you said, okay, a full charge load weighs X. And so he weighed that by pulling the components out. And your point, Doug, and I want to make sure people get this, is the reason that you pull the bullet is to make sure he's not weighing one that's actually the squib load, right?
That's correct. That way you will know what a fully charged bullet should weigh.
Right. Okay, so, you know, that he knows what the fully charged bullet, and in this case, the cartridge, the whole cartridge, bullet, powder, and primed case. Put them all together on the powder scale, and you weigh them, and then simply go through and weigh the rest of them. And anything that comes in 3-4 grains less, then he knows he's got a possible squib load. Put that to the side. And even if you don't have, if you're not a reloader, you don't have a powder scale, I bet you have a friend or somebody you can go to who is a reloader, and just spend 2 or 3 hours going through and just weighing each one. And at that point, you will be pretty sure that you're going to be okay. I think it's a good idea, Dave. I like that. I mean, I'm sorry, Doug. That was a good idea. I appreciate that. All right, 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. What have you been shooting? Oh, yeah, what's on your Christmas list?
Sign up for our Gun Talk newsletter and join the Truth Squad at www.guntalk.com. Now, back to Gun Talk with Washington Times opinion page regular contributor Tom Gresham.
Well, this is interesting. I'm looking at some news for the week. NRA has Dana Lash, Cam Edwards, standing up for America, they say, because what they're doing is they started a hashtag Don't Die for Denim. And they're talking about Levi's CEO, Levi's as in blue jeans. Levi's CEO Chip Berg put out a message that says, we would ask you to not bring your guns into Levi's stores. Okay. They're also not going to provide security for you while you're at the Levi's store. Okay. Well, then that, for me, would say, well, why would I want to go there? Besides the fact I like Wranglers better anyway. So, yeah, Levi, I think traditionally Levi's has had a bit of an anti-gun stance, and now, of course, they're just saying, please don't bring your guns in. Now, to be fair, I want to say this. A number of other stores or companies have made those statements as a way to get the nut job gun control people off their backs and to say, okay, we'll make the statement, please don't bring your guns in, but we're not going to put our no gun signs up. In other words, leave us the H alone. We will make the statement. We're not going to put up signs. We're not going to kick anybody out. And I don't know if that's what's going on here. But at the same time, at least one company, remember Kroger? They said, no, we're not going to do that. Big grocery store said, no. They said, we're going to start a boycott of you. They said, do your best. Do what you can do. See what you can do. And then it just went away. So the vaunted anti-gun, the lobby, the gun ban lobby, fizzled on that one when somebody called them on it. And so congratulations to Kroger on that one. And it's quite frankly easy for me to pass up Levi's. As I say, I really do prefer the Wranglers anyway. Let's see, line 1, Dave is with us. He is, it says, traveling home from a mule deer hunt. Dave, where you been hunting?
Hey, yeah. Hi, Tom.
Hey.
Oh, we just got done with a really great mule deer hunt in Wallace County, Kansas. And,
how'd it go?
3 out of 4, we sold the tag, so it was great. Guys
Excellent.
hanging out, shooting deer, and stalking. It was awesome.
That's great.
I tuned your station in. I'm just cruising home, and the guy with the squib fires, I had the same experience years and years ago when I was younger and just getting into reloading.
Mm-hmm.
I had a progressive press that failed to drop powder.
Uh-huh. And so now you just have the primer pushing the bullet out of the case and jamming it into the barrel.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shooting a Ruger Red Hawk 44 mag, and of course, that's a wheel gun, and it just went pop.
Yep.
And I opened up the chamber and
swing the cylinder out, and you look down the barrel, and it's all black in there. You can't see any light coming through the barrel now, right?
Yeah, right. It's all dark.
That's not good.
But so I went back through all those rounds, and I think it's an RCBS that goes out to 1,000 grains, and you add a little counterweight or something, and started weighing them. Of course, I knew. I weighed an empty case and added it all up from there.
Right.
But I think he should do that and get a range that is heavy, and he'll be able to find that.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go. That's the way you can do your own quality control, your own QC check on those remanufactured loads out there. And look, I appreciate the call. I got to keep running because we got a lot of people lined up. But Dave, I've done the same thing. When I was early into reloading, I was shooting a what the heck was it? Model 27 357 Magnum Smith & Wesson, and I was trying to get the loads as light as I could for recoil. And yeah, you can get them so light that they won't actually get all the way out of the barrel. Jammed one just smack dab into the barrel. And you're right, you do have to use like a brass rod or something like that, because a cleaning kit rod will not work when it is jammed square in the barrel. Trust me on that one. It takes a pretty good hammer and a pretty good brass rod to whack that thing and push a lead bullet. In this case, it was just a lead bullet getting it out of there. Hey, I want to drop down to line 3 and get Anna in here out of North Dakota. Hey, Anna, thanks for calling.
Thank you for taking my call, Tom.
Sure.
I have an observation about General Petraeus, but it's more on the line of generals and those flag officers in general.
Okay.
I'm a 28-year veteran of the Air Force, so I got to see a lot of this kind of stuff. The high-ranking officers become very risk-averse for recreational risk, which includes firearms. For example, I was stationed at a base that had a small pond. It had a sign on it with what my guys called the B-no list. There will be no swimming, no fishing, no wading, no dog training, etc. No fun.
No fun.
And that kind of thing happens a lot. So aside from the risk you take during your duty, you're assumed not to be responsible enough to handle the risks in your recreational efforts. So, except from the bad knees you get from intramural sports and doing your road running.
So, okay, this makes a lot of sense to me, Anna, because they're saying, well, why take the risk? We don't have to. We will post everything off limits or prohibit things. And so they're looking at this and going, well, there is a risk in having people provide their own protection, their own firearms. And we don't have to do that, and we have the ability to make it go away. And then if somebody does do it, then we can say, well, they broke the rules, so we're not responsible for it. I mean, I get all of that. It's just, and look, I appreciate the call. Thank you very much. I look at that and think, yeah, but in this case, it's obviously the difference is it's not recreational, it's life or death. It's, will I be able to have a gun as I'm coming onto a base and leaving a base, irrespective of whether you're actually in the military? Because I know a lot of people that go onto bases every day, they can't carry there. So that means they have to be defenseless as they go about their day if they are going to be going onto a base sometime during the day. Just a thought for you there. And I do appreciate that call. Philip, don't go anywhere. We're going to get to you when we come back. I'm also asking, what is on your Christmas list in terms of guns, optics, ammo, or things that go bang? 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in. Be right back.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
Do you know SID? If you want a gun silencer, SID is your champion. SID is a special kiosk powered by Silencer Shop that has shipped to more than 300 gun stores nationwide, where you and all of your trustees can register, get fingerprinted, and complete the documents necessary to own a silencer in your gun trust. Easy, ATF compliant, and you only need to visit SID once. SID, Secure Identity Documentation. Learn more at silencershop.com. Making the world a quieter place.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
Crimson Trace announces the revolutionary Link, the world's first wireless laser and white light system. Combining a green laser at 300 lumen light with instinctive activation for AR-type modern sporting rifles. Link offers wireless control of the laser and light from the ergonomic replacement grip, eliminating the need to reach for the rifle's forend. Link. Smart, simple, secure. Available now. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
You know, when I see stories like this terrorist at Ohio State University driving over people, jumping out, trying to stab them, trying to cut them, just makes me realize that there is no such thing as, well, gee, I don't need to carry today. It's going to be fine. I'm going to be on a campus. It's the middle of the day. It's not going to be dark. I'm not going to be in a dark alley. I'm not going to be in a parking garage. What could go wrong? You hear people say things like that. Why would you ever think you need something like that? Because there are terrorists, because there are bad people, because there are crazy people, because there are people who are hopped up on drugs and think that they're a tiger or they're a, who knows what, and they're just trying to hurt people and they don't know any difference. And you don't want to try to stop them by getting close. If they get close to you, they're going to hurt you. They're running over people in trucks. They're cutting people up. You stop them by shooting them. You can wait for somebody to come there. While you wait, what's going to be happening? I mean, this is a really, really simple question. It's a leading question. I get that. What's going to be happening while you're waiting for help to arrive? People are going to continue to be hurt. More people are going to get hurt, maybe killed. if you have the training, if you have the permit where necessary, if you have the ability to carry, I would submit that it's your duty, it's your responsibility, not just to yourself, but to your family, even if they're not there. Your family wants you to come home, but also to other people. Yeah, I know people say, well, if they should have carried themselves. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. And I can make the argument. But at the same time, it's just something for you to think about. Hey, we've been giving away guns this week, and we've got the latest winners. Of course, in week 3 of the Ruger new gun giveaway. Week 3 was the LCP2, David S. from Iowa, Runnels, Iowa, got it. And then week 4, the SR 1911, Dustin D. from Billings, Montana, got that. We're going to be having another great giveaway coming up pretty soon. We got some pretty cool discounts going out right now. In fact, ends today. You got to go online right now at Double Tap Ammunition, doubletapammunition.com, and you can get 15% off all your purchases today if you put in the Gun Talk code. I think it is, it's FPD16, FPD16. That's for first-person defender. So use the code FPD16. Also at pyramidair.com, you're going to be able to get 10% off with the code Gun Talk. I'll actually be talking a little bit more about that. I think that adult air guns are one of the coolest things in terms of getting a lot of trigger time. We'll be talking about that in the next hour. Line 4, let's see. Philip's with us out of Claremore, Oklahoma. Hey, Philip, what do you think about the squib load?
Hey, Tom. Well, first off, I think you're right about what you said a second ago. The problem is not too many guns. The problem is not enough guns. If more people were armed, we wouldn't have these mad dogs running around doing terrible things. The squib loads, I think those need to be relegated to a training round. He can shoot one-shot draws. He can practice his magazine change and, shooting one, reload, shoot one. He can practice shooting his one-hole groups from 3 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards on out. I mean, he can get a lot of good use out of this last 700 rounds. And, the young man, when he said that he didn't have enough money, I've seen too many guns blow up because of an ammo problem. And, then what do you have? Do you have another gun? I mean, you're just out $400 for that one round that you saved the money on.
Talk about spending some money. Yeah, you mess up your gun. Not to mention the possibility of physical damage to yourself if you blow up your gun. So, and what we're talking about, for those who don't know, a squib load, it occurs to me. We've been talking about squib loads. We did not define them because there may be some people that don't know. We're talking about a load where the bullet does not exit the barrel. It either jams into the front part of the barrel as it just comes out of, in this case, the back part of the barrel, away from the target, or it gets stuck somewhere in the barrel. And what could possibly happen, the reason we're talking about this as a dangerous thing, is if you stick a bullet in the barrel and you're able to fire another cartridge around behind that, the pressures can build up, and it is possible, not guaranteed, but possible for a gun to come apart in your hand in that case. That's why you always check to make sure your barrel's clear, all of that. So our question is, okay, we had one squib load after, what did he say, 300 rounds, right?
300 rounds.
Okay, so he's got 700 rounds roughly left. Do you trust them? I think we're all on the same page here is, yeah, you can shoot them. You just don't want to go bang, 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 because that doesn't give you time to notice. Because when you get a squib load, it's going to sound different. It may feel different, but you need to be alert to it. And that's why firing the one shot, stop, and then maybe fire another shot, stop. So I like your idea of doing the one-shot drills. You could draw and fire one shot. You could do a one shot, and then I'm going to do a reload drill. But don't do a reload and shoot again. Just making sure. Be careful with it. And I'm just glad to hear everybody is kind of on board in terms of being safe with it. You hate to blow money, but at the same time, sometimes safety costs. Frankly, sometimes education costs. In my case, unfortunately, I keep having to pay for my education over and over and over again as I keep relearning things that I used to know. Man, isn't that the way it is? Back with you, 866 Talk Gun, get you in there. And in just a little bit, we're going to be talking about, things to get for Christmas. holiday season, whatever your particular holiday is, go with it. It's okay. I don't care. Celebrate however you want to. As long as you're doing it ballistically, of course. Anything that helps you pull the trigger more is a good thing. It's interesting. I see these crazy, quote-unquote, studies. Just saw one that said half the guns in America are owned by 3% of the people. Well, that's weird. It actually could be true, but it's as meaningless as it is possible. Now, we know that somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, I think it is about 40% of the people own a gun. 40% of the households in the country have a gun in them. So if 40% of the people have a gun, how would it be? I mean, it's possible statistically that 3% of the people own half the guns. Because, there are a lot of people that may own one or two, and then there are people like me who, how would we say this? We offset that just a smidge, okay? But at the same time, it's one of those meaningless stats. It's intended to show, well, see, gun ownership isn't really that popular, and most of the guns are owned by just a tiny fraction of the people, and it's okay to strip them of their rights, of course. Because if it's a small number of people we're taking rights away from, why would we bother? Because you know what we call a small number of people? We call that a minority. It would be perfectly okay with these people, the gun ban lobby, to strip a minority of their rights because there just are so few of them. Wait, did you say strip a minority of their rights? What? Yeah, I know. It's a fun little thing I do. I like to have fun with the whole thing. Yeah, Michelle says, that's deplorable. Yes, we are. And proudly so, aren't we? Yeah, I think, I just see something about Mook on the Clinton team said the deplorable comment was really, really hurt her. Well, yeah, only because, and here's the thing, only because it showed who she is. Only because it showed what she thought of voters. Only because it showed what an absolute, deplorable elitist she is. And the people got to look at it. We were having a conversation this week, and I said, one of the things, and I know it's been said before, is that the American public simply got tired of being mocked, of being made fun of. Everybody from Saturday Night Live to politicians, and most certainly the media, the tone, the phrase, the way they position things. Listen to President Obama when he talks. If you want to hear a subtle but very strong put down, he uses the phrase, the notion. The very notion that such and such and such. The notion, da-da-da. In other words, what a silly idea. It's certainly not based in fact, not based in reality. Yes, clearly he's the king of condescension. The notion, and you'll hear him say that. Well, you know what? Americans actually know what that means. They know when they're being minimized, marginalized, mocked, made fun of, put down. They get that. And they got tired of it. And they said, that's not us, and we don't want you, and we don't want Clinton. And, Trump may or may not be terrific. I think he's infinitely better than her. But the American people simply said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. And we're not going to support somebody who makes fun of us, marginalizes us, and simply has this level of condescension. We're tired of it. And for those who keep saying, well, how could this happen? Well, that was one of the reasons. Really as simple as that. So what are you getting for Christmas? Would like to know that. 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, we'll have an idea of how you can get in more trigger time next year.